Imagine standing in the midst of a torrential downpour, while everyone around you is screaming for help. You feel every drop of rain as if it were a needle piercing your skin. This is the reality for many who possess a heart that feels too much in a world that takes too much. You want to be strong. You want to be unshakable. Yet you fear that becoming cold means losing the very essence of who you are. We live in an era where empathy is often exploited and kindness is mistaken for a lack of boundaries. You carry the weight of other people's expectations on your shoulders until your spine begins to crack. You find yourself drained, exhausted, and bitter, wondering why your soul feels like a dry well. Today, we are going to explore a different path, a path paved by the ancient Stoics. This path does not ask you to become a monster or a statue made of ice. It asks you to build a fortress around your inner world so that your light can burn without being extinguished by the wind. We call this being cold, but in reality, it is the highest form of emotional mastery. It is about developing a skin of marble and a core of fire. By the end of this journey, you will understand how to remain untouched by the chaos of the world while keeping your humanity intact. You will learn that silence is more powerful than an argument. You will realize that your energy is a currency that you must stop spending on things that do not matter. This is not about hating others, but about loving your own peace of mind more than the approval of the crowd. Let us begin the process of hardening the exterior to protect the sacred interior. The world is ready to take everything from you if you let it. It is time to stop letting it. Welcome to the Stoic way of becoming unreachable.
The root of your suffering is not that you care, but that you care about things you cannot control. We are biologically wired to seek social cohesion, which makes us vulnerable to the opinions of others. In the modern world, this biological drive has been hijacked by digital noise and constant social pressure. You react to every notification, every slight, and every piece of bad news as if it were a direct threat to your survival. This constant state of reactivity is what makes you feel fragile. You have become a puppet whose strings are pulled by the whims of your environment. When someone insults you, they pull a string, and you dance with anger. When the economy fluctuates, another string is pulled, and you dance with anxiety. You are hemorrhaging emotional energy because you have no filter for what enters your psyche. The Stoics recognize that the mind is the only thing we truly own, yet it is the first thing we give away. We protect our bank accounts and our homes with locks and passwords, but we leave the gates of our minds wide open. This lack of psychological boundaries leads to a profound sense of burnout and resentment. You feel like a victim of circumstances because you have given your power to those circumstances. The hidden issue is a confusion between being good and being agreeable. You think that by feeling everyone's pain, you are helping them, but you are only drowning alongside them. A drowning person cannot save another. They only drag them down into the depths. To be of any use to yourself or the world, you must first learn to stand on solid ground. You must identify the parasitic emotions that are draining your life force. Every time you react emotionally to something trivial, you are losing a piece of your sovereignty. This is the sickness of the modern soul, and the cure is a calculated coldness.
The first major realization is the distinction between apathy and stoic indifference. Apathy is a lack of feeling, born from despair or numbness. Stoic indifference is a strategic choice to remain unbothered by external events. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that you have the power to have no opinion about a thing. Just because something happens does not mean you are required to let it disturb your peace. Think of your mind as a laboratory where you analyze every incoming thought before you allow it to become an emotion. When a problem arises, the Stoic asks one question: is this within my control? If the answer is no, then the Stoic treats it as if it were the weather. You do not get angry at the clouds for raining,
So why get angry at a person for being difficult? People act according to their nature and their level of awareness. To expect them to be otherwise is a form of insanity on your part. By accepting reality as it is, you remove the friction that causes emotional heat. This is where the coldness begins to take shape. It is the coldness of a mountain peak, untouched by the storms in the valley below. You begin to realize that your worth is not tied to your productivity, your reputation, or your social status. These are what the Stoics called preferred indifference. It is nice to have them, but they are not essential for a virtuous life. When you stop needing these things to feel whole, you become dangerously free. You no longer have anything that others can take away from you to hurt you. This realization is the first layer of your new armor.
Many believe that to be stoic is to be heartless, but the counterintuitive truth is that true coldness is a protector of love. When you are emotionally reactive to everything, you have no energy left for the people who actually matter. You are so busy being offended by strangers on the internet that you are irritable with your family. By becoming cold to the trivial, you preserve your warmth for the essential. Setting a boundary is not an act of aggression. It is an act of self-respect. You must learn to say no without feeling the need to provide a long explanation. Your time is your most precious resource, and most people are trying to steal it from you. Seneca warned that we are frugal with our money, but extremely wasteful with our time.
To become cold is to become a gatekeeper of your own life. You stop trying to save people who do not want to be saved. You stop participating in gossip and drama that adds nothing to your character. This strategy requires you to embrace being misunderstood. People will call you arrogant, distant, or changed. You must be okay with that. Their perception of you is their problem, not yours. If you are living according to your principles, it does not matter what the gallery thinks. The strongest tree is the one that can withstand the wind because its roots are deep and its bark is thick. You are growing that thick bark now. You are learning that your internal validation is the only currency that never devalues. This is how you keep your heart beating without letting the world bruise it.
If you ignore this reality and continue to let the world bleed you dry, the consequences will be severe. You will eventually reach a point of total emotional bankruptcy. This is where bitterness is born. When you give too much of yourself to things that don't matter, you end up hating the world and yourself. You become a shadow of who you were meant to be, fueled by resentment and regret. The emotional vampires in your life will move on to their next victim, but you will be left hollow. The Stoic way is the only way to ensure that your fire doesn't turn into ashes. You must realize that you are the captain of your soul and the master of your fate. Being cold is not about being cruel. It is about being finished with nonsense. It is about having a standard for what is allowed to enter your orbit. When you finally master this, you will notice a strange shift. People will respect you more, not less. They will sense that you cannot be manipulated or intimidated. Your presence will carry more weight because it is backed by a solid foundation. You will be able to look at the chaos of the world and smile, knowing it cannot touch you. You have built your internal fortress. Your heart is safe, tucked away behind the cold, beautiful marble of your discipline. You are now a light that shines in the dark, but you are no longer a candle that can be blown out. Go forth with this new strength. Be cold to the noise, be cold to the hate, but keep your fire burning for the truth.
To understand the art of being cold, we must first descend into the labyrinth of the human psyche. Why do people react with such volatile intensity to the slightest provocation? The answer lies in the psychological concept of projection, where individuals cast their own internal shadows onto you. When someone attacks your character or attempts to rattle your composure, they are often screaming at their own perceived inadequacies. Human nature is intrinsically designed for social survival, meaning we are evolutionarily hardwired to seek approval,
This biological drive creates a hidden behavior where we subconsciously outsource our self-worth to the hands of strangers. We become puppets on strings, danced by the whims of those who do not even know their own hearts. Deep psychology reveals that most anger is merely a mask for fear, and most arrogance is a mask for fragility. When you learn to see through these masks, the coldness you adopt is not a lack of empathy, but a profound clarity. You realize that their chaos is a storm within them, not a reflection of your reality. We must acknowledge that people are often driven by subconscious biases and past traumas they have never addressed. By remaining detached, you are refusing to participate in a cycle of dysfunction that has likely lasted for generations. This is the deep truth of human interaction. We are all reacting to ghosts of the past. The Stoic recognizes these ghosts and chooses to remain in the present moment instead. You must see the world as a stage where most actors have forgotten they are wearing costumes. Your lack of reaction is the light that reveals the absurdity of the play. True power comes from understanding that you are the only person responsible for your internal state. When you master this psychology, you no longer feel the need to defend yourself against the shadows. You remain a solid mountain while the clouds of human emotion pass by harmlessly. This is the psychological foundation of the heart that remains warm while the exterior stays frozen.
There is a rare insight that modern society desperately tries to ignore. We are told that to be a good person, we must feel everything as deeply as possible at all times. We are conditioned to believe that emotional hypersensitivity is a sign of a virtuous soul. But the elephant in the room is this: your overwhelming emotions make you useless to those who actually need you. If a surgeon cried at the sight of every wound, the patient would bleed to death on the table. If a captain panicked at the sight of every wave, the ship would surely sink. The rare insight is that emotional distance is actually the highest form of service. By being cold, you provide the stability that others lack when their lives are falling apart. Society views detachment as a vice, but in reality, it is the only way to maintain a clear moral compass. When you are caught in the emotional currents of the crowd, you lose the ability to distinguish right from wrong. You become a victim of the collective hysteria that defines our modern era. Stoicism teaches us that the greatest gift you can give the world is a mind that cannot be shaken. Most experts will tell you to vent your feelings, but they ignore the fact that venting often feeds the flame of resentment. The truly strong individual processes their emotions in the silence of their own soul. They do not need to perform their pain for an audience. This revelation changes everything. You realize that your calmness is a lighthouse for others lost at sea. You are not being cold because you do not care. You are being cold so that you have the strength to care when it actually matters. It is a strategic reserve of energy that most people squander on trivialities. Hold on to this insight as a shield against the noise of the world.
Now, let us move from theory to the practical application of this Stoic strategy. To become cold without losing your heart, you must implement the 3-second rule of reflection. When an external event occurs, be it an insult or a crisis, you must create a deliberate gap between the stimulus and your response. In those 3 seconds, you ask yourself a single question: is this within my control? If the answer is no, you must view the event as if it were a natural phenomenon, like rain or the wind. You do not get angry at the rain for getting you wet, you simply open an umbrella. The second practical step is the exercise of externalization. Write down the things that bother you, but do so in the third person, as if you were observing a character in a book. This physical act of writing shifts the perspective from "I am suffering" to "he is experiencing a challenge." Furthermore, you must practice voluntary hardship to toughen your outer shell. Take a cold shower, fast for a day, or walk in the cold without a jacket. By intentionally exposing yourself to discomfort, you prove to your mind that external circumstances cannot break you.
From a financial perspective, this stoic coldness is your greatest asset. It allows you to ignore the panic of the market and the lure of impulsive spending. You see money not as a source of status, but as a tool for freedom and autonomy. Start today by choosing one thing you usually react to and meet it with absolute silence. No words, no facial expressions, just a calm and internal observation. This silence is your laboratory of self-mastery. Over time, these small victories build an armor that is impenetrable. This is how you cultivate the discipline of the ancients in the modern world.
Conversely, those who value truth and stability will be drawn to your presence like a magnet. You will find that you have an abundance of energy that was previously wasted on trivial arguments and social anxiety. This energy can now be funneled into your mission, your health, and your legacy. The coldness you have cultivated becomes a source of immense warmth for your own inner peace. You move through life with the predatory grace of a lion, unbothered by the chatter of birds. This mindset shift allows you to see opportunities where others only see obstacles. You are no longer a victim of the narrative. You are the author of the story. Your mind becomes a fortress of tranquility in an increasingly insane world. You will realize that the heart you thought you might lose was actually hidden under layers of fear. Now, it beats with a rhythm of iron and purpose. You are finally free from the tyranny of the external. This is the birth of the modern Stoic master. Your transformation is now complete, and the world will never look the same again.
We conclude this journey with a powerful reminder from the ancient masters. Marcus Aurelius once said that the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. By remaining cold to the world's cruelty, you are performing the ultimate act of rebellion. You are refusing to let the darkness of others extinguish the light within you. Remember that being cold is not about being cruel. It is about being unbreakable. It is about protecting the heart so that it can continue to love what is truly worth loving. As you walk away from this video, carry this philosophy in your marrow. When the world demands your anger, give it your silence. When the world demands your fear, give it your courage. You are the master of your own soul and the captain of your own fate. If this message resonated with your spirit, I invite you to join our community of modern Stoics. Subscribe to this channel and comment "I am the master" below to signify your commitment to this path. Sharing this video helps spread these timeless truths to those who are still lost in the noise. Do not let the insights you have gained today fade into the background of your life. Apply them, live them, and become the mountain that the wind cannot move. The path of the cold heart is the path of the true warrior. Thank you for your time and your attention. Go forth now with a mind of ice and a spirit of fire. Until we meet again, stay focused and stay stoic. The journey has only just begun.